Welcome to another Brunch with Bree. How is your Tuesday? If you're here, say hello, leave me a comment. Let me know how your week's going. Today, I'm really excited to talk about feeling safe and comfortable when you're in a place of the unknown, in a place of uncertainty. And I'm using those words specifically, even though my live is labeled elsewise, because I have the darnest time trying to say ambiguity. Ambiguity. I know it pronounces right in my head. I just cannot get my tongue to do it. So I'm sticking with uncertainty and unknown means the same thing. So, just want to check and make sure I am live, and I am. It wouldn't be a big thing if I wasn't, though, because of my terrible pronunciation. Let me just check some things out real quick. All right. Well, if you're in a place of uncertainty, maybe big transitions are coming, and okay, good. We are live. I just wanted to check, make sure we are live. All right, kind of reset. Sorry about that. Tech problems, tech issues are always so much fun. All right, so let's get back to what today's live is all about. The importance and possibility of, feeling comfortable and being uncomfortable, really. So for people like me, I love change. I love quick change more so. I love, just big things happening quickly, because in the past, I've always, I didn't really want to sit and to think about it too long, I had extreme anxiety and rumination, depression, OCD. So the longer something was planned out, the more I would just circulate and ruminate, like, what can go right, and then get so excited for that. But oh no, what if it goes wrong? And then I get in the spiral of these what ifs. And if you've been on any of my other videos before, we've sometimes talked about these what if scenarios and how you can utilize it for your benefit. Like, what if everything goes right? What if I get the moon? What if I reach the stars? But it could also be, very harmful in creating your life. You start this rumination. What if, especially when what if I did this in the past? What if, could have, should have issues? Or what if things go wrong? Because once you put that out there and you start to feel, it starts to create that. So these what ifs can be great, but they could be very, very harmful as well. And when I was not in a great place, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, those were very harmful what ifs. And I really hated being in any type of, something long-term, something far out, just what ifs. And when I was sick, it's what if I can't do it? What if I get there and I'm sick? What if things get worse before that happens? And just huge scenarios of what ifs. So today we're gonna talk about how to stay out of that and how to embrace the unknown and embrace uncertainty, even if it's far, far away. I've got some possibly big changes coming in my life, and they're far out. And for once, I'm not worried about any of them. I am just completely in peace and enjoying the process. But how do you get there if that's not who you are and you're not in that stage yet? I'm going to list a few ways that might help to do this, accomplish this. One is, of course, you've heard me say it before, you'll hear me say it again, mindfulness and meditation. Being in the present, being in the eternal now, and being very grateful for the now keeps you centered and focused and not worrying about the future. It also cultivates a sense of inner peace. So just being present in the now, in the eternal now, that's all we have. So no reason to get all tied up in knots over the unknown. It's actually, I love saying jump into the unknown, because when you break past of the known, that is when amazing things happen in your life. If you're a fan of journaling, another great tool is to journal and reflect on your thoughts and your feelings to gain clarity. Why are you uncomfortable right now? Why is, this moment of uncertainty raising different feelings? Is it senses of fear, of nervousness, excitement, loneliness, whatever you're feeling? You can write about it and reflect on maybe why you feel like that. What's stopping you from feeling the emotions you want to feel right now? So that's a great tool to just start kind of reflecting on why you are uncomfortable. It will help you start getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. Another few things is, just saying affirmations or prayers, stuff like that. You can repeat certain phrases to yourself to help you ground yourself and keep you centered and tell yourself it's going to be all right. You can do rituals, whether that's lighting candles, essential oils, going for a walk, make a morning walk part of your routine. Which brings us to our next one is nature connection. Getting connected to nature is amazing, at least for me, because you can do that anywhere. I learned how to connect with nature living in downtown Atlanta and working in downtown Atlanta. I still found a way to connect with nature, whether that was the beautiful potted plants outside of my apartment building, the plants next to the waterfalls in the courtyard, the trees, especially when they came to life in spring. And then I had no idea before I moved there that they were full of these hidden nature preserves, just full of nature. So you can do it anywhere and everywhere. You can talk to your spiritual guides, your God, your angels, your higher self, and, seek some clarity. And, just ask for comfort through them too. And we can ask for help anytime we want. They usually won't intervene until we ask. So just ask that question. Connect with them. You can use visualization. Really I'd say this is where, we're going to think about the future. We are human, and in this human world, we have a thing called time, and we have to adhere to it. So I'm not saying ignore the future or don't think about it, but when you think about it, you can, instead of getting overly excited or worried or what ifs, just use visualization to picture what you want that future to look like and the steps you need to take to get there. And if it's kind of uncertain, like you don't know who's going to be there exactly or where that's going to be exactly, start building your ideal kind of, and it doesn't have to be all at once, just build this picture. And I'm sure I'll be able to share a lovely story of something I've created recently and didn't even realize. I was just like, in this distant future, far away, these are kind of the pieces of the puzzle I want for this beautiful picture. And it's kind of, appeared. So you don't have to know what it looks like exactly or where it is. Just start building those pieces and using this time of the unknown to create and let it materialize into action. It's absolutely beautiful. Make sure you're still moving your body. I know in times of uncertainty and unknown, it could be a time where we shut down, get rigid, and, kind of isolate. So that means even lack of movement. We either start just diving into books or video games or movies or whatever that might look like to you. So just make sure you're moving. Do extra self-care. If this is an uncomfortable time for you, up your self-care. Why not? It's perfect time. So make sure you're getting good sleep. Insomnia and lack of good sleep help to hurt. It helps to hurt It provides a culture of what ifs and anxiety. Eating well, drinking water, just fueling your body. Because if you're tired, if you're not eating well, you're full of junk, you're not drinking enough water, you're going to feel bad. And then how is that going to help you create your beautiful future that you're sitting in the unknown currently? And in that, self-care and comforting food, make sure your environment's comfortable. If it's, changed recently or it's going to change, it's kind of perpetual change right now, just you can have, a little softer lighting, or more natural lighting is even more encouraged. Blankets, soft clothes, stuff like that. Utilize what makes you comfortable, what you have, And then there's so many different ideas that I kind of did some research on before this, because I love now the unknown and uncertainty, but I had to do more research to find out, why people are uncomfortable and how to get better. And I know, like I said, I was not in the place where I liked the unknown. I very much made huge changes in my life within 2 weeks. It was usually I found a place and told everyone I was leaving in a week or two. So this is very new to me as well. You can get creative. I guess even recently I decided to try a very different form of art, and it was a lot of fun just diving into a new creative outlet. I still am creative with my food, but I'm working on changing some physical aspects of myself to match my internal aspects. And I felt like my creativity has kind of been limited in that realm. So diving back into art and paint. I love acrylics, especially because if I make a mess, they're easy to clean up. So, maybe do some artistic expression. If you're struggling, do some neurographia, and on the back of your piece of paper, put ambiguity. No, still can't say it. You can put unknown, uncertainty. You can write that word out. I can spell it for you. Ambiguity. I hope. Put that on the back, and then flip it over. And for the first 30 seconds, or even 15 if you're very quick, draw lines from left to right, or if you're left-handed, right to left. And just let your brain do what it does. It's starting to, work through those processes. And then after that time and that burst of relinquishment and that burst of letting go, then you can go add in intentional lines. And then you make sure that you round out all the edges and make sure that no lines abruptly stop and fill the edge of the pages, and color it in. So that is the basis of neurographia, and it helps your brain work through some of these problems. So give it a shot. Usually I can complete a small little thing within 30 minutes. It doesn't take a lot of time. If you make it even smaller, less time, bigger, more time, you get it. You can also reach out to community, friends. That would be great for positive distractions, not negative. I highly recommend not utilizing substances to numb out your feelings. If, this is really uncomfortable for you, I know, there's a good amount of people who turn to substances or over-exercise as a way to kind of numb what they're feeling or distract themselves in an unhealthy way. So if you can reach out to your friends or your family, it's summer in the US. There's tons and tons of events. Fill your time with events, friendships. If you like movies, good books, as long as you are utilizing that time wisely and not just you disappearing from the world by binge watching or binge reading. Do your hobbies, do fun things to utilize this time. If you're moving to a new place, utilize this to find those places you haven't found. If you've been in your location for 2, 5, 10 years, I bet you still places you haven't been. Why don't you utilize this time before you leave to go explore? Of course, gratitude. No, you never heard me talk about that. Appreciate what you have, where you've been, where you might be going. Be grateful for the time you have to reflect on it, time you have to really create your future. Once again, if you don't know exactly what's coming up, or you have a feeling and there's just all this uncertainty, this is the time to really create what you want. You can use uncertainty and jump into the unknown and let the known unfold around you. The big one, I know we've talked a lot leading up to this, but the big one, the reason you're probably experiencing this uncomfortableness and the uncertainty is because you may have a hard time letting go and accepting and trusting. You may even have great trust, but you still have that, you want to be in control. You want to know you're a planner and things are currently not super planned, or there's a couple different plans, and you really should try to practice acceptance and letting go. Let go of the need for control, the need of controlling the situation, and trusting the process of life. And I feel like kind of a hypocrite here because a majority of my life, I did not do that. However, I can confidently say I'm not a hypocrite because I've really switched gears into trusting in the last, I'd say, year. And it's just getting better as more I jump into the unknown, and the more unfolds and the more amazing things happen. And of course, if you're doing these and it's not helping, get some professional support. And this could be therapists, counselors, spiritual doulas, who all specialize in navigating these transitions, major transitions, or maybe you're even in a small transition and you're still uncomfortable. Reaching out to somebody can really, really be beneficial and get you over that hump that you might need. So how do we practice acceptance and letting go? First, acknowledge your feelings. Recognize and accept your emotions without judgment. Just, I know I just said journal and reflect, but step one is you have to acknowledge your feelings. And that means, not overdoing, jumping into exercise, binge watching TV, binge reading, just completely getting yourself numb. Substances. You can't feel anything or acknowledge what you're feeling if you're numb. So acknowledge what you're feeling and just let it come and go. Next step is to probably reflect and journal on these feelings. Okay, why am I feeling this way? Could it be from this thing that happened in my life? Am I feeling, am I nervous about what might happen? Why do I feel nervous? Is it because I'm not in control and I usually like being in control? Just start really diving down and understanding where these emotions come from. You can also practice observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment in forms of mindfulness and meditation. In mindfulness, it's very important to just observe your feelings without judgment, and that really helps you be in the physical 3D now. And then there's other meditations that help you become in the eternal now, where there is no time and no place and nothing. And that's where I recommend you start creating your future if you have any experience with transcendental meditations. You can also practice some non-attachment, focus on the present moment, and let go of expectations of the future. By clinging to certain outcomes or, the what ifs, once again, we talked about the what ifs. By clinging to those, you just create stress for yourself. We don't know what's coming down the road, and we can plan all we want. And the more you plan, I feel the more goes wrong. So just letting things unfold and trusting that process, not having attachments to different situations and different scenarios is really very beneficial for your immediate health, which in turn helps your future health. We talked a little bit about mantras and affirmations, just helping your brain and your body start to hear, start to feel, start to say all these positive things like I'm okay with letting go. I'm okay with not knowing the future. I love and accept, this comes from EFT. I love and accept myself even though I'm uncomfortable right now. I fully love and appreciate myself. You could even add tapping in. If you need help with the tapping sequence, let me know, and I can, teach you a tapping sequence for, these uncomfortable feelings and changing that thought process and that feeling, the thought and feeling connection. Of course, just what we already kind of talked about is a combination of being grateful, letting go, reflecting on your thoughts, observing your thoughts, all that. And just be aware of your body and promote positive self-talk. Where are you feeling what you're feeling? Where does that emotion reside in? Does your anxiety reside in your gut? Does your excitement reside in your heart? Just pay attention, be very mindful. Another fun one, which I really, really enjoy. This is why I enjoy the unknown. It's shift your perspective. Have a curiosity mindset. Approach this uncertainty with curiosity rather than fear. What can I learn from this? What experiences will this bring? What will be new? And reframe this as instead of unknown or uncertainty, think of it as adventure. I'm in this new spot. I said this many times already today. I used to go dive headfirst in the waters, not even knowing the waters, where I was going to land. And, I gave myself very little time to, go from one thing to next. And this time I've got a good, 4 to 6 months, I think, if not longer and maybe shorter. I don't know. That's the fun part. And it is actually an adventure and a new journey for me to be in this, gosh, I really wish I could say the word, but in this spot of unknown and uncertainty. And it is just, I think it's a lot of fun. I'm loving watching how everything is unraveling and revealing. And it's so much fun. I have no idea. Things changed quite recently, and they keep changing. And went from this plan to this plan, maybe this plan now, and I have no idea what it's even going to look like in another 3 weeks. So I'm having fun. And years ago, this would have terrified me, being in the unknown. I had to be in control. I had to know. I had to plan, prepare, worry, freak out, all the things. But now it's just, I wonder what's going to happen next. And then I see what happens next. And because I'm unattached to the outcome, it's so much fun. And make sure when you do this, you're using positive language. If you are approaching this as a journey full of experiences, but you're using negative language, obviously it's going to create a negative experience for you. In this time, you can explore new interests. If there are, much like if you haven't explored somewhere, or there's been some place you haven't been yet, while you've been where you're at for years and years. I mean, heck, even in your relationship, uncertainty isn't just about location, but relationships. If there's something you haven't tried in your relationship and you've been together for 2, 5, 10, 20, 50 years, take this time of uncertainty to try something new. Try a new hobby together. Explore new interests, explore new activities. It can add a sense of excitement and discovery. Spontaneousness. Just go for it. If there's no known, then be spontaneous and jump into the unknown. Explore. Make it even more of an adventure. Have it be dynamic. Have it be fun. You can have mini adventures. Once again, exploring a place you haven't been, a new part of the country you're in, exploring a new restaurant, take a day trip to some unknown destination. If you've lived on the Front Range for 2 decades, I still bet you haven't explored at all. I've only lived on the Western Slope for a couple years, and I still could have another probably 200 years of exploring and not be done. It's so much fun. And then that's why I love moving to other places too, because every day is a new exploration. All of this, what is all of this for? Why are you experiencing such a time of unknown and uncertainty, if that's where you're at? Well, it could be that your soul and your higher self, and maybe even your subconscious, wants to build some more resilience, build in some more flexibility. A lot of us are very rigid, and that's how we were born. It was written in the stars. There are some signs that are very rigid. Sometimes it's how we were raised, how we were programmed out of society, out of family, out of religion. You have to do this to become this, and you have to not feel a certain way or not act a certain way, or do feel a certain way, do act a certain way, and rigidity is built in. Type A personalities have a huge need to control. And often I find type A personalities will develop chronic illness much sooner than other personalities, type B, because of their need to control, and because we cannot control our external environment no matter how hard we try. It reflects inwardly and causes stress and damage to our bodies. So when we learn how to control our inner self and relinquish control of the external self, illnesses start to dissipate and go away, and a sense of calmness comes. So it could be because you really need to build in flexibility. Maybe you're too rigid, and the world and the universe is conspiring to help you learn how to bend. So next time, if you need flexibility, you don't just snap in half. So how to utilize this in this time? Make flexible plans. If you have a plan, maybe you don't have to be so rigid to it. Adapt with some changes. Really relinquish that sense of control, of expectations, and adapt and go with the flow. So you can purposely add this into your planning. Let's say there's a festival. It goes from noon to 5, and you're like, okay, we're gonna get there at 11:45, good parking, get in, kind of get ahead of the lines, go before it gets really crazy, before it gets to the heat of the day. Once again, we're in summer here in the US. And I don't want to stay too long, so we've got to leave by 3. And maybe you can set the schedule more like, I think it'll be fine if we show up at, between 12 and 1 and leave between 3 and 5, and just work that in, and then just go with the flow. Try to go with the flow. If you are very type A, very controlling, it might actually be hard, because in your brain you can say, yeah, or you say out loud, between 12 and 1, but in your mind you're like 12:15, 12:15, 12:15, and then you make sure it's 12:15, and you're not saying this out loud, but you're still thinking it. So be very observant when you do this. This will help you build some skills and view uncertainty as a chance to build resilience and adaptability. When something unexpected comes your way, whether you like it or not, look at it on how it could be an opportunity instead of a challenge or, a setback or an obstacle. See how, and you could do this in work too, maybe somebody wasn't as communicative as they should have been, and now there is this instant priority that could have easily been taken care of without stress, without the worry, but no one communicated it to you, so now it's your problem and you have to get it done. Well, instead of being like, oh, this set me back on this project, and now I've got this stress because I've got to get this out and done and out. And, oh, if only they would have, you can look at it as well, cool. Let's see how well I could get this done and my other project. Can I get them both done still? And just view it as an opportunity instead of an obstacle and a challenge. And through this, celebrate your wins, every win, every time you realize that you're uncomfortable in the situation and you've either observed it without judgment or you've really triangulated where that's coming from. Celebrate that. If you have this obstacle and you turn it into a opportunity, celebrate that. If you are having a really hard day and yet you were able to find time for gratitude or a walk, celebrate it. Make sure you celebrate yourself. You celebrate your wins. That is essential for building resilience and adaptability. If you are not celebrating what you're overcoming and what you are creating and succeeding at, then your brain doesn't get that dopamine and doesn't understand the power and the amazing ability it has to overcome and the good feelings of doing so. So make sure you recognize and celebrate yourself. Last few things is, I've kind of already talked about this, but really ask why you're experiencing this, especially if this is something you dislike or you disliked in the past. Right now, I kind of was not doing too deep of reflection just because I'm really embracing the unknown, and I've really been excited about jumping into the unknown for a year. And the more I let go, the more amazing things happen. So I'm not quite in a place where I need to do the reflection of why it's uncomfortable, because it's not uncomfortable for me right now. Different things are. New things are definitely uncomfortable, things I would have hated in the past. And I have been reflecting on, okay, why am I feeling this? What did I do to create this? And is the universe delivering on what I asked for? And am I going to turn it away? Or am I going to accept it so that the universe will continue to keep giving? So ask what lesson God's trying to send you, what your higher self is trying to teach you. And of course, reach out to whoever your divine connections are. Higher self, guides, angels, God, Jesus. Whoever your divine is, reach out. The other side is just waiting to help. We just need to ask. Speaking of the other side, this is the part of the live where I am so excited to talk about my webinar with IANS. And that is July 6th at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. And it's talking all about, it's going to be a huge gratitude infused lesson, especially because I'll be talking about mortality. I'll be talking about life's wisdom through my experiences with mortality. 1, facing my own as a sick kid. 2, having a near-death experience in 2017. And 3, my experiences as a death doula and the lessons I've learned from sitting at the deathbed of others and what they revealed. So everything from mortality, death, dying, the afterlife, and active transition, and what that teaches us about how we can live our best lives today. We don't have to wait for these tragic moments or the end or death or dying, and we can really embrace life today. And my lessons with that come through mortality. So I hope to see you there. It's only $10 for non-members, $5 for members, unless you're a superstar member, then it's free with your membership. But July 6th, it's an hour presentation of all the lessons I've learned. But the best part is a 30-minute Q&A after. You can bring your deep, dark, heavy questions, and I will be so excited to answer them for you. And I will see you next week when I talk about connections. This was a request from the group. If you have any requests for any topic you want me to speak on, drop a comment, send me a DM. If you don't want anyone else to know that it's something you specifically want, I don't share on where or who sends me these questions because it can be personal. shoot me a DM. That's perfectly fine. I will add it to my live calendar. And if you have a question, I bet others do too. So next week, it was requested I do a live event on connections, and we will be talking about family, friends, communities, work, coworkers, relationships. I think there's a couple other connections that I have down that we'll explore, and how to really enhance these, which ones are detrimental, which ones you can let go of. I mean, the list goes on. So I will see you next week, and I hope to see you on July 6th.